my friends, welcome back, and it is December 29th at this point, 2018, 26 a.m. Definitely an early video for you, so I guess you can wake up to this one, but if you remember, we posted a couple hours ago this big earthquake we experienced on the Ring of Fire, yet just another one to add to the list, and I was going to post a weather update video which actually kind of doesn't make sense to do until tomorrow because we're right in that transition period where today's data may dramatically change by tomorrow. So I'm going to put that off until tomorrow. But I got something pretty cool for you for right now. Now, if you guys remember, we had a situation in New York in the Queens area. We had what we thought was a transformer explosion. Now Con Ed is beginning to say that it was a malfunction to a piece of equipment that is meant to distribute and determine how much power to send in different directions. That part went faulty, and they're calling that the reason for the giant release of energy that literally shot straight up into the sky and then arced back down like you would see a filament or things of that nature coming off the sun. Just as electricity does, it comes from the ground, it goes up, just like lightning. Same situation here, except this one came back down, and they're calling it an arc, a sustained electrical arc to be exact. That is a quote from Con Ed themselves. But with that said, I want to do a couple things here. First of all, I would like to thank a friend of mine that I talked to on Instagram who sends me a lot of cool information. If you notice here, this picture right here was taken by John_Drew11. That is his Instagram handle. That is how he sent me this photo. Okay, so this guy lives in the middle of Long Island. He's about 40 miles away from Queens. He filmed this video out his window while watching for meteors, believe it or not. He was talking to me saying that he was keeping his camera in the sky, looking for meteors. May have seen something head in that direction. I got to look more into that to verify that information, but nonetheless, this guy definitely caught some interesting footage here, and being that he was 40 miles away, to see it like this, you got to understand this was a big deal. This was no transformer. Now that Con Ed has come out and actually explained that this was like a big release of, they're claiming 138,000 volts. I spoke to my father about that, who's very big into, he went to school to be an electrician, things of that nature. My brother is a meteorologist in the Navy. I spoke with them both. They're both kind of like iffy about if that amount of power could have generated a 5-minute long pulse over New York City and Queens. So with that said, again, John _Drew11 at Instagram.com. Please, guys, get over to his channel. Thank him for this because these are some pretty cool videos I'm going to show you. And again, this guy is 40 miles from Queens. He lives in the middle of Long Island, looking west. Saw this happening right outside his window. I have a short video clip he sent me as well, and then a few articles to show you. So with that said, here we go. Now, this is from Skycam, New York. These are public cameras you can watch, and you could just see. This is what people in New York City were seeing for a while. Short video, but it gives you the idea of what we were experiencing here. And just look at these massive flashes. This is the arc that's coming up. It's illuminating the clouds above. Just an unbelievable sight to see, and it makes you wonder what could cause something like this with today's technology. I mean, I have heard of overpower the grid, but the only power outage really reported were LaGuardia had a power outage, Rikers Island reported some power outage, and some surrounding buildings around the LaGuardia area, even though this was in Queens. So this was a temporary power loss in these areas. They were able to get power back fairly quickly. So basically the quote from Con Ed is this: a piece of equipment meant to measure and monitor current, field, and releasing energy. Basically, it determines how much energy is put out to different parts of the city, of New Jersey, of Queens, of wherever this place actually provides energy to other areas. So watching this video, you could just see that the enormous amount of this blue light, like when you see blue light like this, that is a straight up electricity. You cannot see the arc here as the video is a little contrasted out. It's very bright. You could tell that it happened, basically. Long story short, this is just a snapshot of the picture that John Drew sent me. Again, thank you very much for this. I love when subs send me information via Instagram, Twitter, on YouTube, whatever it may be, and I will gladly feature it on this channel, guys. So give him a thanks, please. It would really mean a lot to me, and I'm sure it would mean a lot to him. Now, here's another view of the skyline. Now, this is more of a longer video. This is going to be about 3 to 4 minutes. You're going to watch this boat right here. And as this boat gets to right around this purple area, you're going to see an orange streak shoot right across behind the Empire State Building here. And then you're going to see what we just saw in the other video, those blue flickering lights. And this event lasted for about 4 to 5 minutes tops. So let's take it out. Let's take a look at this now. If I can get it to play. There we go. I'll move forward a little bit and watch right about now. As that boat gets to that little blue light on the dock there, check this out. This is very interesting right here. And here it comes. That was the initial sight everybody saw. Went from an orange to like a reddish to a blue haze. It was fading in and out. And again, look, this is a clear 4.5 minute video, or 4 minute 5 second video. And this is all you see going on for 4 straight minutes. Look how high in the sky this is reflecting off the clouds. And apparently this is going on in Queens. I was unable to find a webcam that actually pointed in that direction besides the one I showed you first. But just take a look at some of these sights, guys. Even on the boats alone, I would have stopped my boat dead in the Hudson River and just stared at this thing and take pictures all night long as that thing was in the sky. There's another switch to an orange and red color. And you can only imagine what's going on at this point. You got people at this factory freaking out, pushing emergency buttons, alarms, you name it. At this point, they had no idea what was going on. The official quotes from Con Ed in the beginning were that they did not know what caused this. They didn't know how to stop it. And then this was all within a 5-minute period. Then all of a sudden, at the end of this video, you're going to notice this light just disappears as if it was never there to begin with. And it's very interesting because at the same time that it just stops, you see a boat moving across the water, and it doesn't skip frame, it doesn't do anything like that. So it is like a legit cut-off switch that they were able to find to stop this from happening, because you can clearly see it is still going on. We got an airplane of some sort flying back in this area. I'll fast forward a little bit just so we don't have to sit here for the entire time, but you can clearly see some of these flashes are unbelievable, switching from blue to reds to oranges. We're moving into minute 2.5 right now of this, the beginning of this happening. This is the boat I'm talking about to keep an eye on, so you can reference that to where this thing just completely stops in its tracks. So once again, I'll move forward a little bit for you. I'm going to upload this video as a separate one itself, so those of you can analyze every bit of it if you'd like. There's a very, very bright flash. People in the area were reporting explosions, multiple explosions, which would lead you to believe they were transformers. But Con Ed is convinced that these were not transformers that were blowing up. This was a simple malfunction in a part that is meant to measure the electricity that is dispersed throughout the city or wherever that specific power source sends power to. I'm not really familiar with each power station in the city or in New Jersey or in Queens of what they power, but all I know is that this is some crazy footage to be watching, and no wonder there was over 3,200 911 calls within 2 minutes to New York City alone about this. And we're getting up to that point now where you're just going to see this completely stop, and that's the end of the story. Wait a minute, I don't know why that happened, but let's get back to where we were here. That's about right here. I will hit play, sorry about that, and we're going to get to the end of this video here shortly. But I really want you guys to see how this was just an unbelievable sight. I couldn't, and thank you, Caroline, I'm so sorry. I forgot to mention this at the beginning. Caroline is the one that sent me this link to begin with. We were at work last night, so unfortunately we got to miss another pretty cool event that went on. But you know what? Things happen. We got to get to work. We got to make that money, and we got to continue to provide for you guys. But here's the cutoff right here, and it's pretty dramatic. It just goes boom, and it's over. And you can see this video still rolling, still see blinking lights going on in the city. So this was no like freeze frame or anything of the sort. This was a straight up cutoff switch after 5 minutes of basic mayhem. And then they downplayed it, of course, saying it was a simple part, no risk to injury to any human being in the area, anything like that. So, I mean, that's semi-good news. Here is a snapshot from one of those clips we just watched. Very eerie, guys. Very interesting things that went on in New York. Here is one of the snapshots taken by Drew. This was outside his window. So he's facing west from mid-Long Island, looking straight out to where this area was. At first, he didn't even know what was going on until him and I contacted on Instagram. And then he told me he heard that it was a some sort of issue in New York City. So then I began to research. Caroline sent me the links. And here we are putting the video together. So last but not least, I want to show you the actual video that Drew posted, which he has on his Instagram channel. So I really, really would like if you guys could go there and give him a thumbs up and tell him thank you, because it's stuff like this I love to use on the channel to show that it's not just me that goes out and films this stuff. We all have cameras. We all have equipment. We can all be, you know, these types of people that submit videos and get your stuff out there and, you know, possibly turn it into a channel and make it a hobby, make it a something you want to do with your life. That's what I did, and it's amazing. I could not love what I do on this channel more than anything else. So with that said, sorry about rambling. Let's take a look at John Drew's video from start to finish. Here we go. So you can see him zooming in and out of his window. I would be doing the same thing in my mind. I'd be like, what is going on right now? I'd be reaching for scanners right now. I'd be trying to turn on the TV with my big toe. Just unbelievable that you could see this blue flash going on 40 miles away in the middle of Long Island. So obviously he's looking west. Him and I discussed this as well. He zooms in a little bit here to try to get a closer view. It's a little distorted, but, you know, things like that happen. I have plenty of distorted videos that I wish I could have gotten more clear for you guys, but, you know, when you're in a rush to get your camera out and ready to go, things like this can happen. So, Drew, seriously, man, thank you so much for this video. This is a huge help. And again, I'm going to request that my subs please show the respect to the man. Go to his Instagram channel. It's going to be at John_Drew11. That's on Instagram, so you will find him there. I believe he may have a YouTube channel. We did not discuss that. But with that said, that is what I have for you for now, guys. I want to show you a few articles real quick explaining what they think happened. Here are the New York skyline webcams, and I set it up for an archive version. So you can see they still have it here in the archives. I don't know how much longer it will be here, but there it is, that green light. People were reporting they saw UFOs. They were claiming it was the end of the world. You name it. Anytime something like this happens, guys, we get some crazy 911 calls. And as I said before, during one of the interviews, one of the New York City officials said that they received around 3,200 calls within 1 hour in New York City alone the second this started. And this was a 5-minute event, keep in mind, which is very, very cool. So, with that said, let's read some of this. All right. Con Ed says an electrical fault at a substation in Astoria, Queens caused the electrical arc Tuesday night. They are calling this an arc, not a transformer explosion, nothing else. They're calling it an arc. Thursday night, lighting up the sky over New York City while causing some flight delays and scattered power outages. They're talking about LaGuardia, and they're talking about Rikers Island there. It happened shortly after 9 p.m. at the Astoria East and North Queens Con Edison plant on 20th Avenue and 32nd Street in Astoria. They're going to have a lot of answering to do in the coming days. Initially thought to be a transformer explosion, like we said, that was their initial thought. Excuse me. Con Ed issues a statement on Friday morning explaining what happened. and we're going to explain what happened. If I can get my mouse to actually function correctly. An electrical fault of a section of 138,000 volt equipment in one of our Astoria substations caused a transmission disturbance and a sustained electrical arc flash, creating the blue light people witnessed. They don't mention the red or orange lights. The equipment that malfunctioned is associated with a voltage monitoring system, should have the word system there, within the substation. So basically, they're not so much downplaying it, but they're saying it was a simple part, simple mistake, can be fixed overnight. Nobody was at fault, but yet this was one of the biggest stories in New York in a long time. All over social media, just post after post of things on fire, people posting videos of what they saw from their rooftops. Let's read this one right here real quick. Small customers like local houses would likely not have noticed outside of the flickering lights, but for large customers like LaGuardia Airport, the transit system, and Rikers Island, the power decrease resulted in what was effectively an outage. So they called that an outage rather than a damaged outage. There is a difference there, believe it or not. LaGuardia and Rikers both switched on their on-site backup generators, but there was likely a delay in the transfer, which made it seem like the facilities had lost power. So basically, there was a delay in between the time the power went out to when they got their generators working. So they considered it a power outage when really they were just supposed to be quicker and not even allow it to go out to begin with. So I don't know, maybe a little bit of saving face going on here, but regardless, a lot of good info here. I'm going to link this channel or this page here down in the description box, as well as Drew and his Instagram link in the video also. So with that said, guys, that's what I got for you. And if you want to check out what an arc is, Wikipedia is the go-to. I have it pulled up right here. Just type in electric arc, and it will tell you about all sorts of different arcs. And just be prepared. A lot of these don't really match up with what they're trying to say as far as the arc that we saw in Queens. These are different types of arcs. This arc shot up into the sky and then happened to arc down right to the same exact point where it came from. So your guess is as good as mine, guys. But listen, as always, I appreciate every single one of you. Caroline, thank you so much for your hard work. Without this channel, without you, this channel is not possible. I get a lot of motivation from this woman, guys. Strong woman makes a strong man. There's no doubt about that. So, all right. With that said, guys, thank you so much. Any other information you may have on this situation, please comment below. Obviously not on this video. This is the earthquake video. Still a very important situation I'm going to be talking about in the near future. Possibly tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow if I can get through the weather videos. That's going to be important because we have some significant weather to look out for. And that is not just the Northeast. That is all over the country. So what else is new? All right, guys. Stay safe. Be prepared. Have a plan. Have a great rest of your night and early morning for those of you that are waking up at this time. I have to go to sleep at this time. But take care, guys. Have a great night. Thank you again.